Hey, Mike Huber, Moneyball Hitter Magazine. Welcome to our site. I'm the lead columnist of the magazine and the team hitting specialist for the Moneyball training formula. Today we're talking about the Chicago Cubs. Today's one of my last days in Chicago, actually moving out to Tampa, Florida. Can't say that I'm more of a Cubs fan than I am a White Sox fan. Obviously, I have my Sox cap on. And I'm going to say something nice about the Cubs actually today. So for those of you who think I'm nuts, you may be right because I can't believe that I'm saying this or finally saying this. It's been about at least 10 games in, and we're at April 16th, 2015. And, I predicted that the Cubs would probably come in third or fourth place in the NL Central. And there's some open roads that are starting to open up for the Cubs, and I'm starting to see some things that may get me to change my mind. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to hop on board right now with the Cubs, and here's why. If you are a Cubs fan, in the NL Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates, I picked not only win the Central, but to go on and possibly make it to the World Series. And the reason being is because they are the best hitting team in the National League. They were fifth overall last year in Major League Baseball in team batting average. And they slug pretty well, too. They have gotten off to a horrible start. They are in near last place. They're hitting 207 as a team. The Pirates are. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. I have not looked into the situation. I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh. You know, I like to diagnose a lot of teams, but I will. But from what I see with their scores and what's going on with the team right now, uh, they just, the way they're going, they may wipe themselves clean uh, from being a playoff contender. And I do not see Cincinnati or the Milwaukee Brewers doing anything. They're too inconsistent, especially from the offensive side of things. So that leaves the Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals obviously have the best pitching staff. They last year you know, they kind of laid an egg as far as hitting is concerned. They scored maybe 3 runs a game. This year, maybe they're scoring 4. They're hitting a little bit better, but not much better. Uh, so it's there for the taking. The Chicago Cubs have an opportunity. Now, they're only hitting 224 as a team right now, which is not good. But there's been some games where they've been the best hitting team in the whole league. And there's been some games, especially in the beginning, uh, that just didn't go so well. But they are about to take off. I can just tell. I've been a hitting specialist for a long time. I know what type of swing in the major leagues on down that really works. It's not the conventional type of swing where you would have your back elbow up and swing down or swing linear or swing flat. A lot of the championship or World Series teams have a slightly upward type of swing off their back foot, and what I call effective rotational backside hitting. Almost every member of the Cubs does hit that way, and the last couple years they've been pretty young, pretty inconsistent, but they are in the top 5, top 10 as far as hitting home runs is concerned. And I'm with a couple of their free agents that they picked up, and like Coughlin and Wellington Castillo, a couple of these players that are really stepping up to the plate and doing well, and then you add Rizzo to the mix and Castro, who are consistent stars in the league. The Cubs really have a potent lineup, and I just think every game that they're going to hit a couple of home runs and that they're going to start hitting more consistently because they seem more grounded uh, in their approaches here. Um, so I really like what's going on, and I think the Cubs have a chance to really, really dominate. And the next open road for the Cubs is when Chris Bryant comes back, probably next week. And, he had 43 home runs in the minor leagues. He hits over 300. He was probably one of the best hitters in the major leagues in spring training. So there's no doubt in my mind that he is going to do well once he gets up. Added with a lot of these other star hitters in the lineup for the Cubs, uh, it makes for a great lineup. Now, one of the bigger keys that I haven't mentioned yet is Jorge Soler, whom I think is right now the best hitter on the Cubs and will be the best hitter for the Cubs the whole season, even better than Chris Bryant. This is his second year. He's really grounded in his swing. He's stronger than an ox. When he misses the ball, it goes far. Um, he's slugging 586. He's right up there with the big boys right now. And, I think pitchers are scared to death of him. So with Soler, Bryant, Rizzo, Castro alone, those are four superstar hitters. And whenever you get four superstar hitters in a lineup, it's pretty darn scary. Okay? So look for the Cubs to really start to break out. The pitching is good enough to win. And even if, their lineup is possibly deep enough, if they even have an injury in the lineup, to keep on going strong. Because the rest of the teams are going to have their injuries too. Now, what is going to set the Cubs back besides the Billy Goat? Okay? Now, I've written an article about their hitting coach that they hired, John Maley. And again, nothing personal against John Maley. But I didn't personally think it was a good hire for the Cubs. John Maley teaches a totally different style than how the Cubs hit. The Cubs are rotational backside hitters. Maybe not so effective, but they're becoming effective rotational backside hitters. John Maley is a linear contact, hands to the ball type of hitter. So almost the exact opposite of how these Cubs hitters hit. Now we do know that John Maley is his first year, and usually as a first year hitting coach, you do not touch a lot of the veterans and a lot of the star players in the lineup, which so far we heard that he has not. Although we know that he has gone after a lot of the young guys, and these particular young guys that he's working with are just plain not hitting. Including one of the reasons they brought John Maley here was to work with Javier Baez, who is their potential superstar second baseman, who's had struggles with his swing, who is a rotational backside swinger. He does have a lot of bad habits in his swing. Maley has tried to change him into his philosophy of swinging, and basically Baez went from a 230, 220 type of hitter to a hitter who hit a $124 in spring training, with probably set a record for the Cubs with strikeouts. So that experiment did not work. We knew it would not work. We called it a long time ago. And our fear is John Maley, who is highly well known, he is from Chicago, speaks at conventions about hitting. He's adamant about his philosophy and style. He's been a high-level minor league coordinator for over a decade, especially with the Miami Marlins. The problem is when he's gotten a chance to be a hitting coach for a particular team, like the Miami Marlins and the Houston Astros of last year, who are now in last place in hitting right now, he's coming near dead last place as a hitting coach in his teams that he has coached. So why did the Cubs hire him if that's the case? Well, he's only been a hitting coach for 2 years. Up until that point, he's been a major speaker on the circuits, and he's been a minor league coordinator, okay, which coordinators get a lot of respect, okay, up until the point that they actually have to be a hitting coach when the numbers publicly come out, and then they've got to meet, kind of look at themselves in the mirror type of thing. which Maley's only been a real major league hitting coach for 2 years. This is his third year. He's excited about this team, and he's really landed in a gold mine of really, really good, young, talented hitters. And we've seen this time and time again in the major leagues, where there's been a lot of talented hitters who, when the hitting coaches mechanically get their hands on them, really, really mess with them. And, discombobulate, discoordinate their natural hitting muscles that they want to use, which is a natural upswing for Major League Baseball hitters. And really nobody teaches, especially in Major League Baseball, minor league baseball, the natural upward swing. Okay? They may identify it, but they do not know how to teach it. And they continue to teach the traditional, Charlie Lau, linear contact type of swing, which is, why you're seeing in the major leagues, why the slugging percentages have gone significantly down over the past 5 years, and actually the team batting averages have gone down significantly over the past 5 years, last year being the worst since 1972. So guys like John Maley are a part of this struggle. Um, Whether they know they are part of the struggle or not, they will eventually find out. And, we suggest to John Maley that he continues to be hands off with the Cubs hitters and to promote them and to help them positively on the mental side of hitting, like some of the smart coaches do in the major leagues. Um, but we also know that guys like John Maley have big egos. They think they really do talk a professional game, and it really sounds like they know what they're talking about when it comes to hitting. And he's chomping on the bit on his opportunity to get his said philosophies inside this Cubs organization, which will be it's a huge danger, it's a huge mistake. Right now, Maley should be embarrassed that the Cubs are hitting 224 right now. This lineup should not be, one of the worst team batting averages in the major leagues. Okay, it should not. However, we know that Chris Bryant is coming up, and I'm just seeing that there's a couple of games, like every other game, the Cubs just look totally dangerous, like Detroit Tiger dangerous. Their lineup does, and they're really ready to break out. But when you have a hitting coach who thinks a lot differently than they do, and is putting, some different types of thoughts into their minds that their muscles really don't want to do, it's a real danger. And the Cubs front office don't know the danger that they're in when he's in the clubhouse. Okay. The good thing is he's a positive guy. Everybody seems to like him. He's a good speaker, carries himself well, all those types of things. But, we here at Moneyball Hitter Magazine have seen time and time again at all levels the hitting coach really, really tear up a lot of hitters. And it's happening at the major league level on down. And, John Maley is one of the leading ambassadors for that, and he really doesn't know that he's a part of it quite yet, because this is just his third year as a hitting coach. So, but it's real danger, and it's the only thing that we see setting the Cubs back. But we think that like a guy like Chris Bryant, who has been trained in backside rotational Ted Williams type of mechanics ever since he was a kid from his father. There's no way in the world, there's no way in the world that he's going to listen to John Maley and his linear philosophies, okay, and start to implement that, because he knows what he's doing. He's been ingrained. The rest of the Cubs hitters, maybe like a Jorge Soler, who comes from an uneducated country, or is just more natural in his swing. Okay, um, you know, he guys like him may fall into what John Maley's trying to teach him and stuff like that. Um, so there's danger here. We think it's the hitting coach, but we think that the lineup is going to be so strong that hopefully Maley at some points just sits back on the bench and just lets these guys go up hacking at it and to figure it out for themselves and to be positive. So hope for that. Hope for that. But if the Cubs offense goes south for some reason, um, we're telling you who's behind it. Okay? And nothing against him. We know he's trying his best, but hitting is mystical. Okay? It's hard to figure out. You can't figure it out on video analysis. You can't figure it out on swing reports. You got to know what's going on inside the muscles. Okay? In order for a video analysis to make sense. And we know these guys like Maley are big video analysis guys. They're looking to see what's going on and trying to help these guys out when, really there's a lot of little intricacy things, sometimes in the stance, sometimes where and how to start the swing, which muscles to pop first, um, how to sync up the muscles for them to pop, 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 pop in the right type of sequence. Because if you screw up the hitting muscles and make it more mechanical than more athletic and more natural, you're really doing the hitter a disservice. And we're afraid that that might happen with the Cubs. So I'm not nuts. And I am more of a White Sox fan. I'm actually from St. Louis. But we're moving out of Chicago. We're going to Tampa. If you are a hitter in maybe high school or college or in the minor leagues, we have several types of product lines that you would enjoy because we have a Moneyball training formula that's designed to get hitters to hit at least 50 points over their normal batting average and normal slugging percentage that they've had, throughout their career. Okay, so more than 90% of hitters out there playing at the travel ball, high school, college, whatever it may be, are usually average to below average hitters. There's a reason why. Um, you're not learning the right types of philosophy of hitting, basically. Okay. So that's what we do for business, as well as write all these articles and do our reviews on certain players and certain teams like the Cubs. So thanks for joining me. Head to my website, Moneyball Hitter Magazine. It's moneyballhitter.com. And we have RSS feeds from the MLB that we have a relationship with, and along with all these articles and videos and more on the Moneyball hitting training formula at the same time. Mike Huber, thanks a lot. Talk to you next time.